Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M by 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. And in support of that mission, we have been doing these roundtables year after year, month after month, week after week. And this is the 600th session. It's kind of amazing to look back on all the years of being here almost every Thursday morning, the entire 1 million by 1 million team with entrepreneurs all around the world. And, when we started this, it was just an experiment in the fall of 2008. My first book on entrepreneurship was coming out, and a friend of mine who at the time was doing a company, a WebEx-like company. It was called DimDim, and Didi Ganguly was the entrepreneur, and he said, "Why don't we try our platform, and why don't you do an online webinar, and let's see what we can do to promote your book?" And at that time, I had already written my blog for about 3-4 years, and I used to get a lot of requests to talk to entrepreneurs. So I thought, okay, well, why don't we try to do something like a roundtable where people can come and talk and we can discuss their strategies and so forth. This is the genesis of 1 million by 1 million. The program in its current form had not yet launched. That happened in 2010, so a couple of years later. But this experiment of being able to talk to entrepreneurs all around the world and do this roundtable format is what kicked off the beginning experiments that eventually led to 1 million by 1 million. So it is a milestone, and we are grateful that you have decided to come to these for all these years. We have had hundreds of thousands of people participate over the years. On the YouTube channel, you will find recordings of every single session. We will be recording today's session as well. We are recording, and you will find recordings of every single session there. On Twitter, we are at 1Mby1M and at Stromana. We publish a lot. If you're following us already, you know that. And if you're not, you're welcome to. These are the call-in instructions. You can also call in through the computer audio, so either way is fine. We are going to start with the entrepreneur pitch session, and we have 3 entrepreneur pitches today. Now, before we get going with the pitches, I want to set expectations for those who are pitching today, as well as those who are going to be pitching in follow-on sessions. This is a safe working session. We have no other agenda but to listen to you and brainstorm with you. So please don't be nervous. Please don't be defensive. It is going to be a candid feedback session. I will not give you a pat in the back gratuitously. The point of this is to have a constructive brainstorming session. And it's possible that you may disagree with my feedback, but that's okay. It's your company. You will do what you want. But do take the feedback and consider what you are hearing, because it is, experience feedback. Okay, Tom White is going to go first. Rainy Day Income Insurance is the company. Tom, please unmute your line and tell us what you're doing.
Yes, thank you for having me and giving me an opportunity to share what we're doing with Rainy Day Income. My name is Tom White. I'm the founder of Rainy Day Income. Rainy Day Income is an insurtech company. And if you would go back one slide, please. Sure. Oh, thank you. Yeah, my background is I've got over 20 years experience in the wealth management and insurance industry. In that time, I've founded and sold 2 wealth management firms, and so this is the next idea that I've come up with. Next slide, please. The problem that we're addressing is the fact that most people can't stand a prolonged loss of income, whether they're an employee that got laid off, or even a self-employed business owner that's going through a downturn in their business. And the fact is, most people live paycheck to paycheck, so they don't have much reserves to cover their bills in the event of a loss of income. And state unemployment benefits really does not cover most people's expenses since there are caps, limits to the amount and duration of those benefits. And so, most people need time to find another job or to be able to get through the lean times in their business. So our solution, in the next slide, please, is to provide benefits that cover their expenses and allow them time to find another job or get through the down part of the sales cycle. And with the benefits that we provide, policyholders would receive 80% of their income over a course of 3 to 6 months that they can select that duration. And for employees, we would provide them with headhunter services to get them back to getting a job, and obviously that gets them back to continue to pay the premiums on the policy. We're designing it to where the premiums are in line, comparable to other insurance policies such as life and disability, to make it affordable. And we're also incentivizing policyholders to continue over the long term to hold the policy so long as there's no claim by increasing the benefit to where it increases, from 80 to 85, 90, and 100% to come year 5 to really make it enticing for the long term. And so, the competitive landscape, what's interesting is that as a result of the pandemic, there were insurance carriers here in the US prior to the pandemic, but all of them practically have gone out of business when unemployment went up to 14%. I think there's only one that still exists, but they're no longer writing any more new contracts. They're just enforcing the existing contracts they had. So this provides us with an opportunity to enter the market with limited competition. At the same time, there are other carriers in other markets, such as the UK and Australia, which gives us a good basis of comparison to see how we design our product to make it, a much better product for the market. And so our differentiator is that we provide significant benefits that increase every year. We also are designing it to provide some sort of short-term cash value feature that they can access for any reason that would either be treated as a loan or some sort of an advanced accelerated benefit rider to show that even though they're continuing to pay the premiums, they're still building value for as long as there's no claims. And we're going to be targeting from the employee segment specific industries such as healthcare and technology, primarily professionals in those fields, so in the higher income range, of those that can afford the policy premiums, yet still cost beneficial versus saving up for a cash reserve. And in the self-employed, we're targeting those that run their own business, such as realtors, and also specifically gig workers. With the rise in gig workers, we believe that that segment in particular will be very attractive to provide them some sort of safety net. And this is where we've identified in terms of the size of these markets and kind of what their average income is, or the average income we would target. And in the next slide, our go-to-market strategy, other than the digital marketing of SEO, SEM, we're also going to be partnering with other insurtech companies to resell our product, targeting industry associations like the National Association of Realtors, and partnering with payroll providers, PEOs, and also marketing through gig companies. We think that them promoting our product will help them recruit gig workers as well. And so our main revenue models as an insurance company would be obviously revenues from premiums, net of claims. And in the meantime, while claims aren't paid out, we can earn investment income from the float of capital reserves. We believe that, like life and health, income is insurable. And so this is a new category of insurance that we're looking to create. And if we design the business properly with generous benefits, yet with targeted underwriting, it could be a profitable business model. And so, projections are, it is what it is, but simply what we're trying to show in year 1 is that with a blend between employees, self-employed, and gig workers of approximately 500 each, we can get to 7 figures in revenue. And, from a gross margin perspective, have a pretty profitable business model as well. And so it's not going to take millions of policyholders or users to get to the millions and tens of millions in revenue because of the amount of the annual premiums that we're looking to charge. And as I said, I've had over 20 years in the wealth management insurance industry. My co-founder and I have founded and sold two companies, and so we've had a track record of working together. And we're, in the last slide, we're looking to raise, $500,000 in seed funding for key hires, marketing, and filings and registrations. And so, what I'm looking for from this engagement here today is feedback on our business model, on the concept, our go-to-market strategy. Any ideas and feedback, obviously, we welcome very much. Thank you.
So is this a slide deck or has the business already started?
We've launched a website to acquire what we call pre-registered users. We're still in the process of forming the insurance company because there are several steps involved with getting fronting relationships and relationships with reinsurers. So we're in that process right now.
So in general, in the world that we live in, which is the technology startup world, people don't fund concepts. People fund businesses, which is
Right.
why we emphasize greatly on bootstrap first, raise money later. And since you have some means, you've already sold two wealth management firms, my strong advice to you would be to get this to a business from a concept. So if you were to assess how much time do you need and what resources do you need to get something happening here, I would strongly advise you to make that calculation and figure out how you can bootstrap your way there before you can raise money from institutional investors. You can raise money from friends and family.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I imagine since you've been in wealth management, you know enough people who can write, checks to put together a $500,000 friends and family round, and that's fine. That doesn't need a lot of other stuff in before. But if you want to raise money from professional angels, professional, micro VCs, etc., that's going to require some work and some, translating from a concept to a business.
Yes, no, I agree. And part of what we're looking for, obviously, with the funding that comes typically with it are the mentorships, the contacts with people in the insurance industry that we're seeking for as well.
The mentorship you can get from 1Mby1M if that's
Okay.
something that is necessary, and we don't require you to be funded or anything. Anybody at any stage of the business can join 1Mby1M. So if you hang on, let me work with the other entrepreneurs, and then I will spend some time on how to use 1Mby1M.
Great. All right. Appreciate it.
It's a good concept. I think it's a proven concept, so it's a matter of execution. I don't think anybody is going to question you on the validity and the viability of your business model itself. But it's really going to be on execution.
Yeah.
Okay, Gobidasu, you are next. Please unmute your line.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Shramana. Nice to meet you.
Where is
S
Verona, Wisconsin?
it's near Madison.
It's near Madison. Okay. Okay. All right. Tell me, what are
So
you doing?
today I'll be talking about. So I'm Gobi, and I'm one of the three co-founders of LD Talent. And today I'll be talking about the future of work. Could we go to the next slide, please? So the world has hit 8 billion people, and around half the world is going to be in Africa and South Asia, which comprise 5% of the world's wealth. So when you have those kind of dynamics, there must be millions of geniuses in those geographies who have the potential to be designers, engineers, and creatives. But I think one of the problems is they're targeting their local markets, and so that's something this is a mission-driven sort of approach, and so that is something that we're going for. Could we go to the next slide, please? So on our platform, we have had hundreds of thousands in gross sales, and we've had tens of thousands of hours tracked on our platform. We are a talent platform, but we're a different talent platform, and I'll be getting into the competitive advantage soon. Could we go to the next slide, please? So the problems right now in the talent space are that it's hard to find triple threat talent that's skilled, reliable, and in budget. It's hard to evaluate, build trust, avoid attrition, hire diverse talent, and it's easy to miss creative potential. And that's despite all the different options that are available in this huge market. So there are still problems in this market, and big problems. So could we go to the next slide? So one of the things that we're quite proud of with our solution is that we have an 85 to 90% conversion rate. When people actually try our platform to find talent, we're actually solving those problems for them. So that 85 to 90% conversion rate, it's something that we think is promising. Next slide, please. Yeah. So in this space right now, this is a $20 billion market just in the talent matching space. And there are some big players that many of you must have heard of, but no one is really doing both the strong data-driven vetting and actually like being talent friendly, creating a talent friendly ecosystem. And that's what we believe is the big problem in this huge market. Could we go to the next slide, please? So what we believe is our competitive advantage is that we're actually solving the chicken and egg problem. So every year, thousands of graduates graduate in universities, engineering universities in South Asia and Africa. And these new graduates are something rare in the world to find. They are both of, so that what's rare about it is that they're actually valuable and plentiful. It's very rare in life that you find something that's both valuable, a valuable resource, and a plentiful resource. Now, competitors are going after the scarce resource of super experienced developers and designers, but what we're trying to do is go after people who are like 5 years of experience or even college graduates and invest in their lifelong learning. Take some of the research that I did in my PhD on what makes a professional software engineer and incentivize them to learn the skills that are in high demand and low supply, including design patterns. And then we're building a future of work ecosystem that's quite meritocratic, where talent track granular work sessions in chat, and they include links to work artifacts that they've worked on, like code links even, Git commit links. And then we create a business model that's quite sustainable, that allows this to actually work differently from other platforms. Could we go to the next slide, please? So we do have a platform that is operating. We take a 20% cut, and could we go to the next slide, please?
So I don't understand what this slide is. Can you explain this slide?
Yeah, so we offer a free trial because we know the talent are quite good and we know they'll convert. So you can work with the talent for free for the first few hours, and then you can fund more hours after that. And you can fund hours for them to work on an hourly contract basis. But what we're seeing with a lot of like the customers that we're working with, and we've worked with customers like high growth startups out of YC and 500 Global. We've worked with Infosys and Baidu Ventures. We've worked with universities. We're seeing that eventually what happens with many of the fast growing teams, at least, is that they build trust in our platform. They build trust through the trial, they build trust through the contract work, and eventually what happens is they'll do a buyout. They'll actually pay us a buyout fee and hire them full time, and they'll discover this like amazing engineering Uganda that they wouldn't have otherwise met. And it's easier to build trust on our platform because of the work session system that we've set up. So yeah.
Right. Why were you going to skip that slide? That's an important slide.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we use that cut to sort of train the talent, not vet them, and also train them, support their lifelong learning, which is sort of the chicken and egg problem we're addressing. Also to support that trial, and yeah, so the cut is used for a useful purpose. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this comes out of my research from my PhD, like what really makes a professional software engineer, and it turns out that defining this required quite a bit of research. So it's the design patterns they know, but the ability for them to apply design patterns in professional code bases. It's how they communicate and empathize, and it's also whether we can sort of analyze their code on GitHub and see the quality of their code. And all of this sort of tracking and analysis, we believe can be done in a scalable way, either through automation, like automatically analyzing their code, or through peer review. And we've actually already built the code analysis system. We are building much of the peer review system. It's in beta. And so, yeah. Could we go to the next slide, please?
The automation you have not built yet.
So we have built the automated code analysis. The peer review system it's been done on the lifelong learning projects, but not on the vetting angle. So we're working on transferring that over. So yeah, we have a ecosystem where we've had over 100 lifelong learning projects done on our platform. We're tracking how responsive they are in our Slack organization, like how quickly do they respond in a remote work setting, what percentage of their work actually gets approved. And those are the kinds of different types of vetting that we're doing in addition to standard algorithmic vetting. Can we go to the next slide, please? And so our platform is actually public. You can go on our platform right now and use these granular filters, filter for talent that you want to work with. We have over 500 talent on our network. And could we go to the next slide, please? And so the way, this one. So this is sort of the secret sauce behind our free trial conversion rate. So the talent are describing granularly what they're working on, and then the client has a ability to approve or reject the work sessions. And that has led to our free trial conversion rate being so high. And you can imagine there's a lot of opportunity for NLP and generative AI to come and play here because we want to sort of automate the project management process. And so that's something that we're working on right now, especially now that we have like the free trial conversion rate down. We know our LTV, we know our CAC, we know how those things are working out. Now we're able to like do some of the more creative work and seeing how much can we actually do for the customers on our platform.
What is the conversion rate, the free trial to paid conversion rate?
Yeah, it's between 85 and 90%.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Fabulous.
Yeah. And so, yeah, of course, we're supporting the lifelong learning on the platform to make sure that they succeed, the talent succeed in the meritocracy that we've created. And so we're a team of 3 technical co-founders. Girja has a PhD in math. I, have traveled all over the world and really am inspired by diverse talent all over the world. And Anisha has actually joined our team first as talent from Nepal, and then she joined our team as a CPO, and then now as a co-founder as well. She's redesigned our entire platform from a UI and UX perspective. And so we believe that we have the skill set to go tackle this problem. We have a team of 5 part-time, 5 full-time. And could we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so we know exactly what we want to do to go grab this market. So like we know the keywords we're going after. We know like how we want to sort of do marketing. We know our like cost of acquisition across SEO, reaching out cold, reaching out by getting listed by incubators and funds. We know what we want to do on the design side. We know how we want to automate some of the project management aspects. We have a plan for improvements to our automated code analysis and our peer review. So we have a very clear go-to-market strategy, and we also know what we want to do across design, marketing, and vetting. And could we go
What
to
is your currently what is your primary channel for customer acquisition?
So we actually track that, and we have gotten around. So it's not like one channel. It's actually quite split, like 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. So like around a fifth are from SEO. We worked with almost 100 paying clients, so 94, I think. Yeah, 94 paying clients, and around fifth are through SEO. Around a fifth are through social media. Around a fifth are through referrals. And then some are from just reaching out cold over email with candidate suggestions, and then
Have you
getting
got
listed
big
by
companies?
Any big companies? Is that what you said?
Have you got any big companies as clients?
Baidu Ventures and Infosys have used our platform.
Infosys not Infosys Ventures, Infosys.
Yeah, Infosys and Baidu, but specifically Baidu's venture wing.
But where in Infosys, where is the traction? Do you have a sense that if Infosys likes your product, do you sense that Infosys is going to hire thousands of people through you?
I think that they might. I think that it's also sort of like something that like it's individual teams on Infosys. That like we worked with an individual team in Infosys. So Infosys was paying, but it was like that team had a specific need for data visualization developer who could work in D3. So I think that
You should contact Infosys HR and see if you can get them to adopt the platform, because your business is going to be a very different business if you can get thousands of hires done by Infosys versus a lot of startups, because startups go out of business. If a company's primary business is, very early stage startups going into incubators and stuff, it's not as stable a business as if you can get to, Infosys is very large. It's a good thing that you've gotten into Infosys because Infosys also hires a lot. The mid-market would be fine. A little bit later stage startups that have a bit more stability is fine. I have a little bit of, it's good that you're getting kind of validation through the incubators and so forth, but it's a question that investors would ask you is what is going to be the business that you will be building, and your customer acquisition channel needs to align with that. And if that is an enterprise business, primarily that's investors are going to look at it very differently, whether you're an enterprise business or if you're a startup focused business, and that's something that you should kind of flesh out a little bit, and especially because you already have an entree into Infosys, use that entree and see if you can get something bigger happening at Infosys, which will give you credibility to speak about a enterprise strategy.
Yeah, that sounds yeah. And you're right. Like as we deal with bigger clients, we're facing like different challenges and different like circumstances. Like we just started working with a Series A funded customer, and the like paperwork that we had to do with them is different from the ones we've had to do with seed funded customers as well. So
That's right.
yeah. So yeah, that's a really interesting point, like how we can tailor our service.
And
Yeah.
how are you recruiting the recruits, the talent?
Yeah, through a number of means. So we're getting a lot through referrals now that especially in Africa, we're getting a lot through referrals. But we have also like when they do the lifelong learning projects, they post them on our blog and YouTube, and that grows our SEO. So people are discovering us through SEO as well, like search
How big is the talent pool now?
a 500 talent.
500?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've got the MVP kind of going, and you're looking to get to the next level. How much are you trying to raise?
Yeah, so we're raising on a 6.6M post-money val cap using a YC Safe. We've raised 600 so far, $600,000 so far. We're planning to raise another 300 to 900,000. Yeah.
And how are you? Where is the money coming from? Is it?
So
Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was asking, is it angels, or are you working with a micro VC, or?
No, so far we've just done friends and family and like done safes like that. But we're thinking about like we're thinking about reaching out to more like professional angels. We're thinking about reaching out to like just like equity crowdfunding. We're thinking about like that. We just started sort of like reaching out to people outside of family
Okay.
and friends.
Well, if you need help, that's something we can definitely help you with. You've done enough of the validation work that we can pretty much go straight to fundraising in your case. If you were in the program, we could help you with the fundraising.
Okay.
All right, very good. I will talk more about how to use the program in after I finish working with the entrepreneurs.
That's
One
helpful.
more pitch. So Barnali Khatak is not coming today. She has rescheduled after stuffing the presentation with her slides. Okay, here we go. Who is doing the presentation for this team? Something going on? The next entrepreneur.
Ramana. Yeah, I sent you a note. He had to run. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll go to the 1M discussion and do Q&A then. So folks, if you like the way we operate here, feel free to refer us to serious entrepreneurs in your network. As I said, I try to be as candid as possible and constructive. So if you're ready to raise funding, I can advise you on that. And if you join the program, I will introduce you to investors. And if you're not, I will tell you where the gaps are, just as I did with Tom. I think that if you want to raise money at the stage that Tom is in with just basically a slide deck, that is a friends and family round. Whereas where Gobi has done a lot of the validation work. There's already a business that has started to happen, a small scale business, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. Small scale business is fine. One question actually, Gobi, are you interested in going to Y Combinator?
Yeah, it's a decision we've been thinking about. Uh, the one thing is that, like, yeah, we are giving, like, it is a trade-off, right? Like, we are selling equity at like a much lower price than what our like family and friends have invested in,
Yeah.
right? Because so that's one thing, right? Because I think they invest 500 at a what cap? I'm not sure, but they definitely take.
Yeah, they take more equity, yeah. Your
Right.
valuation is beyond their level.
Right. And the thing is that as a founding team, we've gone through like a lot of Y Combinator's curriculum. We've worked with a bunch of YC startups because LD Talent actually got listed as a resource on Y Combinator's book face. So like we've interacted with their companies a lot and we've asked them like how much value did you get out of YC? And so still trying to evaluate. But like if we're managing to get customer flow without YC and we're managing
You
to do
should be
design
able to,
iteration, then yeah, we're
based
not
on
sure.
where you are right now, you should be able to raise money outside of YC as well. Yeah, I think we can help you. So I was just curious to see you mentioned YC a few times. That's why I was wondering if that's something that you're trying to get into. I know the president of Y Combinator quite well. So anyway, let me explain to you how to use 1M resources. Everything starts at 1mby1m.com, folks. So a completely online program, completely all over the world, anywhere you are is fine. There is a blog series that is very, very rich and it's free. So you can start there. And the Entrepreneur Journeys book series is another good starting point. The books are available on Amazon Digital and you can again access them from anywhere. This slide needs to change because we now have just crossed 600 roundtables. And it's kind of feels unreal to have done this 600 times. And of course, we use the same format in the premium program. So we have actually done a lot more than 600 roundtables just because we have lots of roundtables in the premium program. The premium program is the full acceleration program for 1 million by 1 million. If you're looking for week to week, engagement with me, in the free program, you can come and talk to me at this session once. But in the premium program, unlimited times, as long as you have an active membership, and all the investor introduction and everything work through the premium program. We do help you with financing. We help you with business development where we have relevant contacts. We do help you with introductions. I always ask people to do the self-assessment. If you're trying to see if you can answer investor questions appropriately, and that fundability question I always ask people to think about is, are you fundable? Is it a good idea to go to investors now or wait, do more validation work, try to get more more proof points under your belt before you go to investors? Because the problem is if investors reject you, they will not take another meeting for quite a while. So don't blow that cartridge. The self-assessment is available for free. You can use it anytime you want. There's also a free bootstrapping course that's under an hour. And it's a course that LinkedIn had commissioned us to do. Hundreds of thousands of people have done this course, many, many 100,000 actually. So I strongly recommend you do that course if you haven't done it yet. And also we have introduced 2 years ago, and we've been working on this for the last 2 years to get it to the next level. And it's now actually quite rich. We have a lot of courses on Udemy now. And Udemy's model is very interesting, Our courses are 40 to 90 bucks, 40 to 100 bucks. And Udemy runs promotions where they make those courses available 10 to 15 bucks. And in some countries, depending on, they have differential pricing, regional differential pricing. So in depending on the country you're in, you could get it for a very reasonable 85% off from that country's pricing. So that's, again, our goal is to democratize entrepreneurship education, incubation, and acceleration. So Udemy has been one of the strategies that we are following, and we will continue to enhance our Udemy course base. We already have quite a lot. So if you're trying to start learning at a very low entry point, Udemy is a very, very good option for you now. Our entire curriculum is also available at $99 a month. That is also a very low entry point, and you can access everything basically. So anyway, that's you can dig around on the website to see what do we have offer for premium, what is a basic, video messages, FAQs. The curriculum is described in great depth. There are lots of modules in the curriculum that people, just kind of I'll give you an example. TAM analysis, market sizing, is something that people have a lot of difficulty with. And investors are really only interested in bottom-up market sizing. And that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially first-time entrepreneurs, struggle with. You're very welcome to look up the curriculum and get to that very easily. We have a very popular module called Sales 2.0, which is a B2B sales funnel development, repeatable sales process development methodology, and that is very popular. We've taken many customers, many entrepreneurs from 5 customers to 50 customers to 500 customers just by deploying that model. And repeatability is really important. If you want to build a scalable business, repeatability is really important. So you have to develop processes and methodology on how you are going to do these things. And it's important, Tom, you had a whole list of things that you want to do in how you want to acquire customers. It's important to figure out, validate a few that are working. Like one thing that I like about what you said, Gobi, is that you have 1/5, 1/5, 1/5 from 5 different channels, and all of those 5 are producing. Now you can decide which one is producing to the tune of what you are looking for, right? If you decide you want to build more of an enterprise business, you need to find channels that will give you more of an enterprise customer base. And if you have to do B2B selling, that will require its own methodology, etc. We do a lot of case study based teaching. So entire 1M by 1M curriculum is case study based. Thousands of successful entrepreneurs are constantly engaging with us, and we capture their case studies and, make it consumable at scale. Investor introductions, there is a policy. You do need to have some bootstrap validation to be able to get to access our investor introduction through the premium program. But if you get there, we will introduce you. And if you need mentoring and curriculum and introductions and so forth before investor introductions, that's all available. In 1M by 1M, you don't need to have validation to join the program. You can join the program as early in your trajectory as you want, no problem. We will work with you from as early on in your journey as possible, as you like. But our mantra is, don't go to investors as beggars, go as kings. And the more validation you do, the more likely you are to be able to get to that, successful fundraising round. So that's it. In March, I think we have actually 4 roundtables. We'll probably do one on March 23rd as well. So March 2nd, 16th, 30th for sure, probably also March 23rd. We are ready for Q&A. So if anybody has more questions, please feel free to dial in or turn on your computer audio and talk. Let us know in public chat that you're trying to talk so that I will make sure that we take your questions. You can also ask the public chat to ask questions. Meanwhile, let me introduce you to Irina Patterson on our team. If you have any questions at all about the program, Irina will be your contact, and Irina's contact is irina@1mby1m.com. Just email her, and her phone number is also on the screen. You can also text her. She can do WhatsApp. She can do Skype. So whatever works is fine. Okay. Batuhan Oruk Selik. Oh, I'm so glad you came. I was exchanging emails with you yesterday. You've just started on Udemy with a course. Batuhan, your question is to present our projects like Gobi or Tom, do we need premium program? No, you don't. You get to present once in the free roundtables, these roundtables, without having to be on the premium program. So you just need to sign up to pitch on the roundtable registration page, and Maureen will find you a slot. But Batuhan, based on what you've told me, you've just started working on an Udemy course, so I suggest that you do that course, get a little bit of, you know, Udemy under your belt, just 1M1M course on Udemy under your belt. If you want, you can do maybe even a few more courses and then come and pitch, because at the free roundtable, you only get one shot. Of course, if you join premium, you can do whatever you want. Anybody else? We're seeing a lot of people coming to the program, premium program from Udemy. So if you spend, let's say 50 hours of Udemy studying or 100 hours of Udemy studying, you are better prepared to come in. So in this case, I think Gobi, you've done a lot of Y Combinator courses and so forth. So there's one thing I will mention, that there's a difference between how 1M1M operates and how Y Combinator operates. Y Combinator assumes that you are one of the less than 99% people who are going to do a blitz scaling venture. They're only interested in you if you can do something very large. That is not the 1M1M philosophy at all. In 1M1M, you can build a $1 million business or less, and we will be okay with supporting you with that. If you want to do something, a slower growth, linear growth business, see, there are very few companies that can achieve blitz scaling. We don't believe that every entrepreneur should try to do blitz scaling. And the mortality rate of entrepreneurs who try to do blitz scaling is very high. So most companies do not go from 0 to 100 million in 5 to 7 years. That is just not the natural pace of business. So we emphasize much more on bootstrapping, and of course, we have had companies that have gone on to raise venture capital and scale to much larger numbers, which is aligned with the venture capital model, the Y Combinator model, but we don't require that. We know that less than 99% of our audience will be able to succeed in that path, in that trajectory. But it's okay for us if you do like a $10 million business, a $5 million business, a $1 million business, we still consider that a success, especially if you've done it in a capital efficient bootstrap manner. So we also support bootstrapping to exit. We have done a lot of bootstrapping to exit in the program, where we've made the introduction, and the company that we introduced our 1M1M company to was acquired without much fuss at all, without raising gobs of venture capital, just from a small amount of capital raised maybe, and in some cases none. They went straight into exit, and that's fine too. So our definition of success in entrepreneurship is much broader than Y Combinator. So be aware of that. And for people who are especially in remote locations, not in Silicon Valley or not in one of the hubs of entrepreneurship, like a Bangalore, for instance, or a Berlin or London or Paris, it's better that you keep your options open. Access is important, right? You will have to have access. If you want to raise gobs of venture capital, you will need access to gobs of venture capital. So that's what my guidance is, that bootstrapping is a tried and true way, and bootstrapping actually does not eliminate the option of hyperscaling. You go early, slowly, but you get the right pieces together, you validate well, you do market sizing well, you get customers and so forth, you still have the option of blitz scaling later. If your business is amenable to doing blitz scaling, you can do that. It's not easy. So not all businesses are amenable to a blitzscaling trajectory. That's the only point I make. And bootstrapping is much more broadly applicable. All entrepreneurs, 10 million entrepreneurs, 100 million entrepreneurs can do bootstrapping. Maybe 10,000 entrepreneurs will successfully do blitzscaling. Okay, so that's my my last thing to say. If anybody has any questions, please speak up. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up the session.
Yeah, I had one question. Thanks for explaining the program. So, based on our business, I mean, does your program have mentors and specialists in insurtech insurance that would be applicable to what we're doing?
We have investors in insurtech. We have some contacts at Munich Re. And then I'll have to, the other thing that happens a lot in 1 million by 1 million is, if you are trying to reach somebody, eminent in your field, and they're not responding to your outreach through LinkedIn, very often they respond to my outreach. So if you identify whom you're trying to reach, I can also try to connect with them and get you into a conversation with them through that. It's not a guarantee, of course. It's not somebody that's in my network, so I cannot say that, I can introduce you, but the ones that are in the network, it's easier, obviously. But I've successfully used that way of connecting with people as well, where people are not responding to the entrepreneur, but they respond to me.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you next week or in the program soon. Good luck, everybody. Wish you all the best and very productive weeks. Every day is an opportunity to make progress. And I always wake up in the morning, and at night I look back and think, did I advance today somehow? And it's amazing if you are advancing even a little bit, tiny bit every day. It's amazing over 365 days how much advance you've made. So I wish you lots of advance in the next few days. Bye-bye.
Thank you.